Good morning, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to be talking about the Rift S again 1 month later. It's actually a little bit over a month. Got some good information for you, hopefully, on this one. Let me get a little bit more comfy here. This is my first time recording using the VR, so forgive me if it doesn't come out fabulously. I'll probably render it down to 1920 by 1080, give you as good a picture as I can. But with that being said, let's go ahead and start talking about some good stuff here. So, first off, one of the big things that I did last night is I plugged in my Rift CV1 and gave it an hour of game time again. And I gotta be honest, I couldn't wait to get it back off. Um, I promised myself 1 solid hour of comparison. Went up, did some air to air, started from cold and dark, did a little bit of air to air, a little bit of air to ground, and just even navigating the cockpit was just wasn't the same. So, with that being said, let's start talking more refined information here. So one of my big gripes, first off, was the audio. I complained about it in the last one, said that it sounded terrible, and the answer to that is that it still does. But it actually, for me anyway, has turned out to be beneficial. So I had mentioned the last one that after buying the earbuds, that it makes it kind of handy because I can switch and talk on my cell phone if ever I get a call. Now that has turned out to be more of an advantage than I thought. So, give a little backstory here. My wife works nights, and so she calls me. Well, the kids are in bed at nighttime, so at nighttime is also when I get up and fly with the guys when I get the opportunity to. And it's really handy because I can simply grab the headphone jack out of my Rift S and put it into my cell phone, talk to my wife, and at the same time that I'm talking to her, if the guys are saying something to me over SRS or TeamSpeak, I can still hear them and respond back due to the onboard sound system. So you actually get that double audio, which works out very nicely. And as soon as I'm done off the phone, I unplug the jack, plug it back into my Rift, all while never taking my hands off the stick, and I'm back into that clear point communication. Okay. Um, just really handy stuff. Same thing for the game audio. If your phone goes off or whatever. So, long story short on that, without going on a tangent about the audio, if you're someone who values the ability to be able to talk to people on your cell phone or whatnot while you're able to fly your sim or be in VR, whatever it is you may be doing, that is actually a slick benefit, and I'm actually glad that I have it. So I'm actually going to chalk that one down as no longer a fault. I'm going to say it's a perk. Yes, it's a perk that requires you to pull money, but I mean, nowadays, if you get a cell phone or anything like that, chances are it came with a set of earbuds. They almost all do now, right? So, and they have the earbuds with the little microphones in them, so everything works out great. Right off the bat, another comparison was just in the cockpit. I mean, if going from the CV1 into the Rift S and Rift S back to the CV1, it was real hard navigating the cockpit. I mean, in the CV1, I can read every single dial, every label. I mean, those ones down here at the bottom underneath the UFC or fuel control panel there, that one's not great. The EFC. Um, but all these other ones down here, I can read without issue. All my lights and control panels over here can read without issue. Everything on the HUD, everything on the MFDs, the MPCD. I mean, even if you want to get technical on the MPCD, let me move over here just a little bit. If we were to go back into HSI and turn the map on, yeah, I can still read every single label there. I mean, some of the numbers down there at the bottom get a little bit tough to read, but like when I zoom in, it's crystal clear. So, I mean, in the event that I absolutely need to, I can read everything. I can even read the November Lima up there on the top of the grid for the quad identifier. So right here, November Lima there, Mike Lima there. I can read all of that on the MPCD. And even out here, I can still see that is November Lima. So again, good stuff. Rift 1 air to ground last night was hard. I don't know if that was just spoiled before, but I remember even, when in the prime of using the Rift 1, it was air to ground was a little tough when if you didn't have pre-existing coordinates or weren't in an aircraft with, for example, a TGP or something like that, because you couldn't see them until you got down low, and what I mean by down low is merely just low enough where, yes, you can see them, but you're also in a position where they're going to attack you, right? Um, the other handy thing for me is the ability to remove the nose guard to where you can actually see all of your information down here. So one of the things I just recently picked up was the MFD mounts by Fox for his stick and throttle mounts for the Warthog. And so now, having the option to remove the nose guard and open up that little gap right underneath, right above the ridge of your nose, makes it possible for me to effectively use those without too much discomfort. So, I mean, and I'm getting fast enough where it's not so much an issue anymore, where I can move around pretty fast and still have a relative idea of what's going on, right? So, another cool benefit there. Pretty stoked about it. Let's see here. Next one would be comfort. Now, this is where the Rift 1 did win again last night. It is definitely more comfortable. It's definitely those elastic headbands they were the way to go. Sort of. With that being said, after 5 weeks of flying with the Rift S, I don't notice the comfort anymore. It's not something. It's not a game breaker anymore. The first couple of days that I wore it, I missed my Rift 1. I missed the headbands, but now, being later on in the game here, I don't even think about it anymore. So yes, the Rift CV1 is more comfortable. It is not to the point where a week after playing it, you're going to remember it. It's not like something that where every single day I'm uncomfortable. I'm sitting here constantly having to adjust the headset or whatever. No, I'm not. That's just not an issue anymore. So I would go ahead, and if you're using that as a purchase decision, strike it off the table. Because yes, the Rift is more comfortable. It is not more comfortable to the point where you're going to notice it a week later. Okay, it's going to be like that forgotten stepchild that we're just not going to talk about anymore, right? And if any of you are stepchildren who might have been forgotten, I'm sorry, that was kind of weird. Okay, awkward moment over. Visual acquisition is just stellar on the ground, air to ground. I mean, I can see all the trees and brush down there. And up at 12 and 14,000 feet, I can identify air-to-ground targets, typically without using VR zoom. If, like, for this kind of contrast down here that you were seeing here, okay, the sort of, fall, autumn kind of look to it, I would absolutely be pegging ground targets out, no problem, 12,000, 14,000 feet, up in safe altitude. If we're talking like spring, everything's lush, everything's green, in those conditions, it gets a little bit more difficult, but that's where we peek down, use our VR zoom, and I'm gonna grab you. I'm gonna bag you at that point, right? If you're down on the deck. So visual acquisition is definitely the winner here, and visual quality inside the cockpit is the winner here. I had initially said that if you're someone who had the money but didn't really need to upgrade or feel the want to upgrade, don't buy it. I'm going to retract that. If you were someone who spending that kind of money is going to be tight, it's going to cause pain, it's going to be something that you're going to feel for a few weeks, don't do it. Okay, that one I still stand firm. Personal life comes before this. It's not a game breaker to use the CV1, right? I mean, obviously, if you have it, you've been using it this long already. I will say if you are someone who has heard that, the visual quality isn't that much different from the CV1, I'm going to say you're wrong. The visual difference is extreme. I'm willing to go as far as extreme, at least for DCS World purposes. It has changed the game for me significantly. I mean, right down to, like I said, acquisition of air-to-ground targets, acquisition of air-to-air targets. Now, with air-to-air targets, where I'm going to say the benefit lies is not so much as acquisition. I'm going to say the distance. You might gain a mile or two at distance. So I would say between 9 and 12 miles, I'm visually acquiring targets, and this for the smaller fighters. But what you are able to do that you couldn't do as well in the Rift CV1 is identify them. I'm able to identify a MiG-29 at 8 miles. I'm able to identify an F-18 or a Tomcat visually and know what it is. With that being said, a moment ago I was up tooling around here testing some things, and the tanker. He's up at 33,000 feet. I was down at 6,000 feet. I was able to see his contrails, and at the tip of the contrails, by God, I was able to identify the aircraft. Now, identify aircraft, sorry, bad terminology. I was able to see the aircraft. I was able to tell there is a plane in front of those cons. Now, obviously, we all know there's a plane in front of the cons, but I mean, literally, I was able to see it on screen. Okay, and so that's a huge plus for me. Just being able to get that kind of distance out of it, right? Really real crappy landing here. Let's see here. So we've talked about comfort. We've talked about the visual acquisition. I'll try to get off of that horse there for a minute. I know I've sort of stressed the crap out of that pony. But I mean, there really is a major difference between CV1 and the Rift S. And so if you want that game-changing experience, if you want things to be better, if you're looking for that just even a bit of more of ease of spotting ground targets, and that is also, just to touch on that one more time, I think that's where Rift S shines over CV1 is air to ground. And air to air, yes, it's better. Yes, it's a little bit clearer to see things, but I wouldn't call it a game changer for air to air. In air to ground, it's a game changer. Okay, so it depends on also what your preferred style. If you're someone who's flying the hog a lot or primarily just pushing mud, then I would say get the CV1 or the Rift S. Excuse me. I mean it's a big deal. So let's see here. The last thing I think that we'll talk about here is the tunneling effect, right? So it does have a slightly narrower field of view. At least it has that perception, and I think it's because the lenses are further away from the frame of the headpiece, right? So it's not quite as the lenses aren't quite as close to the edge of the frame of the eye rest, I guess is the best way to describe it. The part that's actually resting on your face. Now, I'm not going to call that a fault either, because one of the biggest things that I still stand firm on from the last video is I prefer to wear my glasses when I fly in VR. I don't know if many of you know this, but it actually does make a difference because of the way that distance is simulated. So it does make things clearer to see, and obviously, I mean, any kind of situation like that's going to be better, with your glasses on. There's a reason why we wear glasses. So, gosh, get this bird trimmed out. There we go. So being someone who wears glasses, I'm going to say that you should absolutely, if you're in that situation, get the Rift S. It's much, much, much easier to put glasses on in the S than it is in the CV1. The CV1, one of the biggest problems that I used to have was the glasses would actually touch my lenses on the Rift. So, and that can scratch either one of them. So this has definitely eliminated that. So real quick, I keep saying so. I'm sorry about that. I'm like trying to focus on multiple things. I rarely ever fly like this and do a recording. Typically, I have everything ironed out and know exactly what I'm going to say. I didn't pre-script this or anything like that because I wanted it to be genuine thoughts. I didn't want anything to sound too, pitchy. You know what I mean? I didn't want it to sound like a sales pitch. But like even right now, guys, I mean, I can see all the way to the end of the runway. I can see the lines real quick. I can see the runway numbers already. So be thinking about that when you make your purchase. Let's see here. I think that's about it, guys. So um, I hope you guys enjoyed the video as usual. Make sure you leave your comments and any questions below. I'll be happy to ask them if there's anything specific that you want to know about the Rift S. Um, oh, one more thing, longevity. I've worn it for 4.5, 5 hours at a time before and never known it, right? And the other thing is the fogging that used to happen with the um, CV1 doesn't happen with this guy anymore. So that's always a nice benefit as too. I mean, I haven't had the lenses fog up once in the Rift S. So another cool benefit. Anyway, like I said, I'm rambling at this point. I'm just going around in circles. So I think we've got all the content I can squeeze into this one. I hope I've given you guys enough information to make a decision that's going to benefit you and your gameplay experience. Until next time, this is Overkill. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, guys. I've got another cool video coming for you later in the week. It's going to be tips and tools, or tools and software to use with DCS World. We're going to be talking about a couple of different pieces of software that I found that enhances the gameplay, whether it be through Mission Editor or actually while in flight. Some tools and configurations that I have outside in the actual physical aspect of the gameplay. So stay tuned in for that. We'll catch you guys very shortly, and then after that, we'll get back into basic fundamentals on the Tomcat. Until next time, guys, hope you had a happy 4th of July. See you later.